To the voice, really. So your voice is the speaker of your mind. It's like an inner hara. It's a place of complete congruence. It knows what it wants to say, it just needs courage to say it. I notice so many people are afraid to say how they truly feel. Speaking up at a meeting, or just telling someone simply, I love you. The many wasted opportunities and moments where there is only one chance for you to say something and it's gone, no more, and you sit with regret wishing, if only I had had the courage. I'm sure we have all had one of those moments. The moment when someone says something that you really wish you had been quick enough to say something back. At the time you stand there in shock, unable to believe what was said was just said to you. As a child, I wasn't allowed to speak. And I don't mean the sound, I mean voice and opinion. I never got the chance to think through anything, because what was thought and said in the household was how it went, and you didn't disagree, or it would result in some form of verbal or physical punishment. Leaving home at 16, I realised I didn't know how I thought, I just followed. There was a leader in me somewhere, however, because I was brave out there on my own. It just meant that I took on the beliefs and the structures of all the people around me, and I remodelled myself. However, after a while of working in the city, I began to hear another voice inside me which was unfamiliar yet rang so true. It wanted me to honour the artist within me. And after a few years I started listening to it. And in time I made the transition from a trading floor to an opera singer. This felt great. I was finally using my voice, I was finally getting to say what I wanted to say, but that wasn't really true. Because even though I got my characters to come alive, I was still telling their stories and not mine. And I was still singing their thoughts and not mine. It hit me like a ton of bricks, the realisation that I still had no voice, and I became angry and frustrated. And I didn't know what having my own voice meant or what it looked like. My singing voice had become my identity, and that was what everyone saw me as, the opera singer. I was honoured with the title, I just couldn't make it stick on the inside. As once again I felt muted. I then got myself into relationships with people who at the outset said they wanted me to express myself, and then later on would try to shut me up or get uncomfortable with me expressing myself because they weren't comfortable with their own feelings. And this felt really damaging. I would walk in with a new idea or express a new project that I was working on, and it would be immediately met with, have you thought about that? You better be careful. How are you going to make that work? Now don't get me wrong, it's not what was said necessarily, it's just that it was the first thing that was said. There was no encouragement, no support, no excitement, no vibrancy, and it was really hard to start something new surrounded by doubters and people who make decisions from a place of fear. People who hadn't raised their game or allowed or followed through with their own idea and couldn't stand you following through with yours. They wouldn't take an interest in what I was doing, so they never knew when my next concerts were and never asked about my writing or composing or how my singing was going in general. It felt like they were eating my energy and never stoking the fire. I began to get mad. I couldn't speak, yet I started to feel my voice in every part of my body. I didn't know how to say what needed to be said, so I started writing all my words down on paper. I journaled every morning and every night for years and found a place for my opinion when no one else could mute it, and I let it bloom. I then took a trip to the States that would finally wake me up. On that trip, I was ripped open, broken down, and then forced to speak up for myself. I was coming home with nothing but a few books, as I'd had to leave everything behind. On the flight on the way home, it looked like we weren't going to make it. Even the staff on the plane was saying their prayers. At that moment, every ounce of ego left my body, and a cry rose up inside me that said, "We can't go yet. I can't die with my voice inside me." It was at that moment that I realised I had to speak. I had a message, I had to open my mouth and start sharing my voice with the world. My voice wasn't just about my singing, it was about my writing, it was about my mentoring, standing for something, showing up in the world, being seen. It was like the prison walls had fallen down around me and I was free. I was finally possible. I am possible, and so are you. I could start living my life on my terms and not in everyone else's shadow. I could come out of hiding and claim my voice. So remember, you are possible, you are unique. Please, please, please don't leave this world with your voice still inside you. Now I've been asked to sing you an aria, which I hope is going to work with the machine. And so I'll sing you a short aria, and it's about